Hi Gemini, and welcome to your energy forecast for the week beginning the 17th of April 2017. I'm going to throw the dice, get a couple of numbers, and we've got two twos. So straight away, twos can talk about partnerships, can talk about business or relationship partnerships. It can talk about the second house, and the second house is ruled by Taurus. We're coming into the Taurian energy this week. We're getting into that more grounded, stable, slower, earthly energy. 2 and 2 make 4, and 4 is the stable number. The good foundations. So that would make sense. But it talks about our money, our earned income, our material goods, our self-worth, our attitude to money, our physical security, our possessions and our values. Now, that's come out twice. So I think this is emphasised that we are in this sort of area. The second card in the tarot is the High Priestess. And the Priestess talks about secrets. She talks about things we don't look at, things we don't see, things that are hidden. She talks about mysteries. She talks about using our intuition in situations. Realising and understanding that some truths, not all the truths may be out, some things are hidden away. There could be a realisation that somebody's not telling the truth this week, or you get a gut feeling, and the High Priestess would be here to say, listen to them feelings, trust that intuition, trust that the feelings that you are getting this week. When combined, we do get to the 4, which is a nice stable number, a secure number. It's a good, real good solid building block to come from. The 4th card in the Major Arcana is Aries, which is the energy that we have in the beginning of the week. So there is a real reference there to leaving the fire energy of Aries and moving into the earthly grounded energy of Taurus this week. The 4th house is ruled by Cancer, and it's about our home, our family, our property, our roots, inner emotions, the immediate surroundings, siblings, our mother, short trips and study. So again, maybe any areas there. Aries talks about being the leader, being the emperor, being the leader, being able to delegate but being fair. Is it time to stand into your power and take control of situations this week? So the first card we want is, can I have the second card for the first die, please? Can I have the second card for the second card, please? I did say earlier about is it about us being in control? The first card that came out, excuse me, is the 9 of Swords, which talks about anxiety. That's a mental mind mash. So are we in a state of anxiety at the moment because we are so worried and whittled about something? But it is joined with the world, the completion. So maybe we have actually completed a cycle of swords, be it that we're only at the 9. It's the realisation, this one, that they have to be put down. It's the realisation that our own mind has blown everything out of proportion. Can I take the third connection card for the 2 numbers combined? The 4th card. And it's the 7 of Cups. Choices. Now, the Sun talks the world talks to Saturn. Now, there's a lot of activity in the skies this week, and maybe Saturn maybe there's something with Saturn this week and where Saturn sits in your personal chart. It's a Mars-Saturn. There's a Mars-Saturn trine, and it can talk of romance or platonic partnerships. There's a Sun-Saturn trine, and there's a Mars-Saturn as well. And all of these tell you about modifying the approach. See reality as it is, not as you wish it would be. If we don't use these energies correctly, we can have a lot of repercussions. So it's thinking about things this week. The Sun-Saturn trine, which I'd say the world and the Saturn connection, would sit very well. Serious productivity is available at the minute. Serious advancement, serious movement forward is available, but you've got to be careful how you use the energy. If you're using it from the ego and for self-worth, to gain that material and earned solely, instead of looking at the bigger picture and how it affects everyone around us, we can be causing some conflict. That said, the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords talks about the mental mind mash we end up in. We've had a couple of problems, and because we've let them sit in our mind, fear jumps in, ego jumps in, and we start talking it round to an encyclopedia of a problem. From that leaflet that dropped through the front door the other day. And we're doing that with every problem, with every situation. We're just analysing and making everything so much bigger than what it actually is in reality. But with this card, it's a card that says, hold on, we realise what we're doing here. It's now time to stop this mental mind mash. Put down the swords, walk away and start again. We're at the 9. You know, the 9 to 10th step here for me is the realisation that it's now time. We've spent too long in life where we've let our mind take control, our ego, our fears, and it's got us nowhere. It's just got us into bouts of anxiety, sleepless nights, you know, not good places. But the realisation of that means we can put that down. Are we juggling two sides? We've got two equals. So are we juggling in our mind and a new beginning? Are all the chances there to start again, as long as we put our mind to rest, that it is time to start afresh? A completion of some kind has taken place because we've got the World card here. So these 9 of Swords could have been over choices in love, because we have the 7 of Cups as the adjoining energy. It could have been over the choice, emotional choices, partnerships we've made. Not necessarily a love partnership, it could have been a friendship that we chose. But the possibilities and the choices that we've had in the past led us to the 9 of Swords. And the new start, the new beginning, the new chapter. And I do think they look balanced with the 2 twos. That, yeah, probably that is it. We had to go through the pain of the 9 of Swords over choices we've made, or we have to go through the pain of the 9 of Swords for the choices that we made. But when we come out the other side of the 9 of Swords after laying them at 10, we've got a clean slate and a new chapter beginning. And with that card, the world, you know, the first caption is, the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want to do. And I do believe that once you get out of the belief that your mind controls us, your mind is right. You know, your mind is no more an organ than your heart. We, as a spiritual soul, are in charge of the mind. When we think the mind can go in autopilot, the ego steps in, fear steps in, and wants to keep us safe in our little box and not challenge ourselves. And when we reach the point of realising and truly understanding that the mind is no more in control than any other aspect of our being, we are in control of it. You can look at the world in a brand new light. You can see all the possibilities that are still ahead of you, or are sat there right in front of you. You may have not even seen them before. Which way is this? Let's have a look. Right. So we're actually the 9 of Swords again. Yeah, and so we have the 9 of Wands in reverse. Now the 9 of Wands in the upright talks about defending ourselves, protecting ourselves. In reverse, maybe we're not protecting. If we don't protect ourselves, accept the death and rebirth that death talks about, the change, the transformation that we've got to go through, which the world also talks about, a transformation, a completion and a rebirth. Not protecting ourselves, accepting the death, the change in a situation, brings us back to the 9 of Swords and being at the point where we can overanalyze and realise it's time now to walk away from that situation. So I would say that these 3 cards brought us to this point of the 9 of Swords. Getting to the realisation that the 9 of Swords need putting down so we can accept a change and not have to protect ourselves. I think this protection has come up in reverse round the death card to say we are probably fearing in that situation the protection is already up. There's not necessarily anyone coming for her or she's under threat, but the protection's already there, so we can be a bit overprotective sometimes. And if we're overprotective and we're in a lot of this fear that is engulfed in the 9 of Swords energy, we're not going to want, we're going to resist the change. We need to put down the fears, realise how the mind works and how it's got us to where it has, accept the change that is coming. The death here is to signify the change that's coming with the world, the rebirth, the start of the new chapter. And not being so defensive about it, not fearing it, is the way forward. And then we can see the possibilities that lie ahead. Well, thank you for coming and watching the video. I hope this has been insightful, and have a great week, guys, and hope to see you next week. Bye.